I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We have been in the midst of a 10-song mega ultra stream from DJ 7.
Oh my word! Actually, it's so good that he started this at 5 p.m. our time. Because if we would have started at the usual 10, it would have been all night long.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. The 10th and final song is "Living Color."
Living Color.
Skin, 41 shots. This is the final song, says DJ 7 Dusted. It's a live cover of Bruce Springsteen's sad and poignant track. I heard this one recently for the first time in ages. This time, it hit me way harder. It's what prompted me to make the decision to stop sitting on the sidelines while all these things are happening around me that I don't agree with. Vin and Sori, I want you to know how much I appreciate the both of you, and I would love for you to continue being a part of my journey. I love you both. By this time, I've left the chat because this song makes me emotional to be capable of rational conversation, but I could think of no better way to sign off for my final stream. Love and best wishes to the village. You've impacted me in ways you'll never know. He's leaving?
Nah. Just for tonight. All right, here we go.
Okay, my arms and legs all of a sudden felt like they had no blood flow to them.
Okay. All right, here we go. Living Color is the name of the band. And the name of the song is, what is it,
American Skin, 41
American
shots.
Skin boy, 41 shots, huh? All right, let's check it out.
We don't want to bring our politics to you, so we'll let you just deal with this for yourselves.
Amadou Diallo. Give me those looks.
41 shots. 41 shots. 41 shots. 41 shots. And we'll take that ride across this bloody river to the other side. 41 shots cut through the night. You're kneeling over his body in the vestibule, praying for his life. Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. No secret, my friends. You get killed just for living your American skin. 41 shots. Lena gets her son ready for school. She says, on these streets, sure, you've got to understand the rules. If an officer stops you, promise me you'll always be polite. And you'll never run away, dear. And honey, keep your hands inside. Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. It ain't no secret. No secret, my friend. You get killed just for living your American skin. Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. It ain't no secret. No secret, my friend. Killed. No secret, my friend. You get killed just for living. 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 You get killed just for living in. You get killed just for living in your American skin. Shots. "41 shots. "41 shots. again for Living Color.
Well, that song was about Amadou Diallo. NYPD was looking for a serial rapist. And Amadou Diallo was an African immigrant. And he fit the description. And 4 cops ran up on him. He was trying to get inside of his apartment, and so he had keys in his hands. They shot him. They hit him 18 times. There were 41 rounds let off in about 7 seconds between the 3 of those cops. So it was 41 shots. They hit him 18 times, killed him, obviously. And none of those officers were indicted. We did not riot. Nobody died. We didn't burn any buildings. A year later, it happened again. Then it happened with Eric Garner, etc., etc., etc. That's why I said earlier, I'm not necessarily going to condemn violence in response to police action, because that's how this country began. This country began by people protesting the police by destroying property. That's a fact. Samuel Adams and the Sons of Liberty went forward with those actions to any store or any entrepreneur that was willing to pay taxes to Britain. Mm-hmm. He destroyed those enterprises.
Hold
Go
on
ahead.
for a second. Teddy, in case you haven't realized it yet, you're completely hidden from the channel, and your comments will no longer be seen. This is a very, very important song, and the topic is extremely sensitive. And you're coming in here being extremely rude and ignorant as fuck, because the information that you're putting out there is absolutely incorrect. So you're now blocked. And if you want to get back on the channel, then you can appeal to the good graces of Vin, because I'm not going to let you back on. If Vin says then we'll talk about it, but only because Vin would say it. Otherwise than that, you're out of luck, because that's ridiculous. You've been out of hand. So, good day, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is why, I pause relative to certain issues. There's certain issues that affect women. And so I have to understand that I'm walking around in this country as a man, not realizing the things that women go through. Mm-hmm. So when women say, this is what we're going through, like, I need to just be quiet and listen. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, Diallo got they shot at him 41 times, hit him 18 times, and that was it. Those cops got sent back to work, and everybody just went back to normal.
How old was he?
Diallo, I think he was in his 30s. Sean Bell was killed by the NYPD the day of his wedding. About a couple hours before he was supposed to go down there and tie the knot with his wife. They killed him. And then you have Eric Garner was strangled to death on camera again, no indictment. It just depends on what kind of you have to decide.
Delaney, did they find the person that did the crime? Like the actual rapist?
Actual rapist? No,
yeah.
I don't think they ever found the actual rapist who was going around doing that.
He went on his merry way.
Yeah, but like, I remember when that happened, and I remember when it came out that those cops weren't going to be indicted. We all I knew exactly where I was. Me and my brother were at a Chinese restaurant, and the news came on, and everybody stopped what they were doing and look at the news to see what was going to happen. And we all kind of like chuckled, like, of course, and then everybody went back to eating their, pork fried rice. If you didn't grow up with we got a laundry list of these names, Rodney King, Amadou Diallo, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor gets killed in her own house. Like,
did you say Tamir Rice?
Yeah, Tamir Rice got killed. He had like 1.2 seconds. Some Karen, that's the thing. Like, some Karen called the police. He was outside walking around looking suspicious, and the cop jumps out there and puts the kid on the ground. Like,
he was the one on the picnic table, right?
Yeah.
Like, literally, the footage, you just see him sitting on the picnic table. He gets up, he goes over there. He's just like a regular kid, and then the cops just roll up, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and like, Elijah McClain, where they choked this kid to death on the side of the street. The kid was on the autism spectrum. They choked him to death on the side of the street, and he's throwing up as they're choking him. He's apologizing for throwing up on them as they choke this kid out. So, and then the police that killed him went back to the spot where they killed him and took pictures, like laughing and smiling and putting each other in chokeholds. They were putting each other in
chokeholds, yeah.
And it was a big joke. So, it's one of those things where it's like, me personally, once I saw that, I said to myself, okay, if that ever happened to my child, that's never going to happen. Those cops are never going to have the opportunity to do that about my child. That'll never happen. Like, we're all going to meet God that day. I've said it publicly. This whole thing where, like, you see these people on the neck of your brother, you pull out your phone. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If I'm in a situation, I see something like that, I'm not pulling out my phone, bro. So everybody has to like make their own decisions as to how they're gonna address those situations. But I've already decided like how I'm gonna address those situations, and so it's like I've got a pretty basic relationship with God. So I'm like, look, if you don't want me to do anything, don't put me in that situation. But if I'm in that situation, I'm absolutely going to act this way. That's what's going to happen. Like, people are going to be in a lot of pain if something happens to my family, bro. That's just like, period. You can, people make songs like this, they cry, they get upset and shit. Like, I understand, but like, I'm beyond that kind of reaction to those types of situations. Like, I'm just not going to react that way. Mm-hmm. Do you know any white people unjustifiably killed by the police?
Okay, for one thing, when we react to music and we start talking about God, if the song doesn't have to do with God, people will be like, why are you talking about God? Even if the song has to do with God, they'll be like, why are you talking about God when it's clearly in the song? This song, sir, is not about white people. Why do white people always have to make everything about them? This song is literally about a black person that lost their life. And then we've had two people already being like, well, what about... Yes, we have spoken about unjust killings of white people. We have. But that's not the topic of this song. But that is exactly why songs like this are necessary, because there's so many people out there that won't recognize the problem. Okay, one of the ignorant things that was said by Teddy was that that white people and black people are killed by the cops at the same rate. Black people make up 12% of the population. Yeah. So if they make up 12% of the
Black
population...
Black people are 4 times more likely to have a fatal interaction with police.
So no, it's not the same. It's not even close to the same. So no, we're not going to talk about the unjustified killings of white people right now, when the issue and the topic, this man's song, is about black people and the struggles that they're going through. Secondly, I can tell you that as a person that's been raised I've been raised in a white environment, and I did not know that racism was as it was, and I did not know that there were cops that would do those things. That was shocking to me. And getting to the point where, so when I entered Vin's family, Johan, he's free-spirited, you know, he's barefooted, he's likely to fall or jump over something, or just chaotic, fun, loving kid. And I had sent him to the store, or he went to the store to get a soda or something like that. You know, he must have been 12, 13 years old. Him and his brother went to the store, and he didn't wear his, he brought a backpack. That's what happened. He brought a backpack with him, and as he was going around the store, he was taking the stuff off the store and putting it into his bag to bring it up to the front to pay for it. And the people went after him, and I was like so scared by that interaction, because I've seen how black people are handled. And when I had to talk to him and tell him, like I would always tell my kids, like, you know, if you don't bring something from another store into a store, like, because it could look like you're stealing, or, you know, the basic things that my parents taught me. You don't put stuff in your pocket, stuff like that. But, like, I felt the urgency when I'm talking to my brown children about not, like when he said, like to be respectful, and what the mom was saying, like, be respectful, keep your hands in sight, and don't run. And, like, that was really hard to hear, that part, because I had already heard of the one boy that it was please say his name, the one in the neighborhood where it was like the neighborhood watch, that shouldn't even be wielding a gun in that. Trayvon Martin. He went to get Skittles for his brother at the store, and he was on the way back, but he was wearing his hoodie, and apparently if a black person wears a hoodie, that means that there's some kind of criminal, and we should just gun them down. So when the kid sees him being chased, he's being chased by this white guy with a gun, he's obviously going to start running. What is he supposed to do? Turn around and say, "Excuse me, sir, what is it that your white face wants?" No. Instead, he starts running because he's scared, and the guy kills him. And all he had was Skittles that he paid for. So, like, you see situations like that, and then you have people, you know, like multiple of you that have come in here and started saying, what about white people, instead of acknowledging the actual issue that we're being talked about. But but what I'm saying is, I wasn't raised that way. Like, you have a certain, like, feeling about it.
The issue is that they're trying to personalize something that's systemic, and that's what they don't understand. So, if you have an entire force that is preconditioned to believe that a black male is dangerous, and that's the doctrine that they teach, and then when they're at target practice, they use the mugshots of black people for target practice. That literally happened. And I'm not talking about like a cutout. I'm talking about the actual face of black people the police in North Miami Beach were using as target practice.
It's not split. It's not like some half white, half black. It's all black. So it conditions your mind to hit the black faces.
Well, yeah,
it's just unbelievable.
Anybody that's military knows what's happening there.
Yeah.
And so what happens is this kid, a special needs kid who was pretty high on the autism spectrum, but he was brown. He was playing with a toy train, and some white lady called the police. So this guy goes outside, and he's like, "Listen, this kid is autistic."
Yeah, because he was a black guy.
It's not a weapon.
Yeah,
it's not a weapon. It's a train. This kid is autistic. So they're yelling at this black dude, "Get on the ground." He gets on the ground. "Put your hands in the air." He puts his hand in the air. They shoot him while he's on the ground with his hands in the air. As they're taking him away, he says, "Why did you shoot me?" And the cops look back at him and says, "I don't know." That cop, by the way, wasn't charged. Whatever.
Surprise.
That's that's the difference between an individual and a system. That cop was trained within a system. So when he was stressed, he fell back on his training.
Right, and his training was shoot when you see a brown face.
Correct.
It's unbelievable.
Because the same department that was using black facial cutouts for target practice, it just so happened to be that trigger-happy group where it's like, well, if you'd been following orders, well, Tamir Rice didn't get any orders. He was shot in a second. And this dude followed the orders to a T, and he was still shot while he was on the ground. And they didn't rush to him to give him medical aid. He had to stay there with his hands in the air while there was a bullet in his leg. I don't know if you've ever been shot or grazed, but it's extremely painful. And this guy had to be completely perfect. So, and then we don't talk about this, but we talk about indigenous people who are 10 times the ratio of average that police interact with. My son wouldn't get a tribal tag on his vehicle because local police target and harass the indigenous. Correct. Yeah, that guy made it out with his life, but the cop who shot him is still on the force running around doing his thing. And so, again, that's the difference between a system and an individual. Mm-hmm. So I have black sons. I've got one that's about 6 feet tall, might cap out at 6'2", 6'3". He's looked upon as a threat. So I send him out around the corner like I until I see him come through the door, I'm on edge. And I always will be till the day I die. But like I said, anybody that hurts my family, anybody that hurts my kids is going to be on edge for the rest of their lives too. And it won't be long. But that's, like I said, those are decisions I've already made peace with that. I've already made peace with myself. I'm not, I mean, me personally, I don't believe in trying to convince people about my humanity. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't, that's everybody has limits, and that's my limit. And that was pretty much it. Like the Elijah McClain thing, I saw those dudes, like they went back to his death site and they made a mockery out of it. I said, okay, these guys are really comfortable.
Yeah, real comfortable.
These folks are really, really comfortable. So folks, you got to make folks uncomfortable, man. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So yeah, I mean, it's a deep song. But yeah, that happened, man. They shot at Holmes 41 times. They shot at Diallo 41 times. He's an immigrant, just doing his thing in the Bronx, just working. And that was the end of his life, man. I remember that. I remember exactly where I was. I know exactly what was going on that entire time. Like, I had just gotten out of the dentist. And I'd gotten a root canal. I was all fucked up. I was bleeding into this thing. And, yeah. And I remember, like, the whole place was tense because we were looking for this, this guy was going around raping kids, all types of shit. And then that came out. And they wouldn't say whether he lived or died either. I'm like, they shot at the dude 41 times. All we heard was, like, he was shot at 41 times. I'm like, there's no way that guy lived, bro. Like, NYPD carry nines, like you like.
But they didn't want to put that all in one.
They didn't want to.
They shot an innocent man and he died.
Yeah, because everybody was like, "Yo, what's going on?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a terrible situation. I don't. Teddy got on here said. Vin hates white people, blah, blah, blah. I don't hate white people. Then they'll say things like, this is a divisive song. It's a divisive song. It's like calling out your actual experience. They're calling divisive. So it's this nice little manipulative tool. So It's like, well, if I bring this up, I'm going to be divisive. I don't want to be divisive.
So people should just sit there and just let their family members get shot in the streets because they have freaking Skittles?
I got white friends that like want me to pretend like this shit is not real because they don't have any kids on the line. Mm-hmm. But the same people that are like, well, you should have just followed orders are saying that Ashley Babbitt was murdered. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the other thing that got me. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So Tucker and all the rest of these people like crying over Ashley Babbitt, like, please, if that was a mob of black people and doing that and a white dude, I mean, come on. I mean, it was so, it's so obvious.
They're also the
it's
people
so obvious.
that are angry because they were being told to wear a mask. And it's like, okay, so you're being told to wear a mask and then you don't want to wear it and then there's some situation and people are upset about it. But it's like the government was picking that to protect people. That's supposedly what was going on. But like, this is happening and there's nothing behind it, like.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't you think the militarization is the main issue? I mean, no, I don't think the militarization of the police is the main issue, because from the inception of that practice, we've been targeted. Since the 13th Amendment states that slavery is illegal unless the person has been incarcerated, you've created a fiduciary and a sociological motive to target black people. Now, I agree. There's a lot of overlap between race and class in this country.
Yes. Yeah.
And so people try to say that, no, it's completely a class issue, but it's not.
No.
Because there's a certain group of people that have been targeted specifically to remain in a certain class.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
So there's one group of people that have all the societal structures, whether it's law enforcement, education, or the monetary system, i.e. redlining. All those things are set against a particular group of people and set for another particular group of people. And so what happens is you have a system where black people's images are being used as target practice, and the doctrine is that black men are dangerous. And then they'll say things like, well, white people have been caught up and killed innocently. For sure. But there is not a system designed against them. That's the difference. So you have the major institutions in place in a given country that are designed for the flourishing of one group of people and for the erasure of another group of people simultaneously. And you've got people saying we shouldn't talk about that. Well, I mean, okay, but indigenous people are still here, and indigenous women end up missing all the time, and we never hear about it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people. You know, I said something that went kind of, you know, semi whatever on Twitter. And I said, what year did racism leave America?
Right. Yeah.
What year did racism actually leave America? You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, it's like, you know, there's a Malcolm, there's a Martin path, you know, which is, you know, Martin is nonviolence, turn the other cheek, obviously. And then there's the Malcolm way to look at things and say, you know, by any means necessary. That's one of the things that's very fascinating to me. Is like, on the one hand, if you air out the grievance, they'll say, oh, you're whining, blah, 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 blah. So then you're like, yeah, you know, it's not really masculine to whine about shit, so I'm just going to handle this shit like a man. I'm going to handle shit the way a man would handle it. Well, now you're a terrorist. You know, it's like...
So what exactly are people supposed to do?
So you can't kneel and protest. You can't say that you're you can't say that you're being treated unfairly, because then you're whining. But then if you handle shit the way a man's supposed to handle shit, then you're a terrorist. We should kill you. So it's like... So it just means that I can't address this issue ever. Like, I should just I should just keep watching people like my kid get killed and keep watching police make fun of it, and I'm just supposed to go on like nothing's happening so I don't be divisive. Well, I mean, people know me by now. I don't sit and whine about shit. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and whine about it. You know, I'm just gonna act, and that's how I've been my entire life. So that's kind of my relationship with God. You know, there's that prayer in the Sermon on the Mount where you're told to pray, not lead us not into temptation. And like, there's some people that can't drive by a strip club. You know what I'm saying? And you know, everybody knows, like, violence is one of those. It's one of those issues for me. So I know what my capabilities are as far as like how Christ-like I can be in a given situation. And my children, that's not one of them. That's not one of them. So, you know, but you know, I don't believe that my way of handling things, by the way, is the right way. I think Martin, at least conceptually, had the right idea. I'm just saying.
But even at the end, he was saying to himself, like, this is not really working.
Yeah, he said,
this isn't working because...
he said his dream is turning into a nightmare. He said, I fear I've integrated my people into a burning house.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Martin would have had 2 or 3 more years, you'd have heard him be a lot more militant, just like Malcolm is.
But you can't oppress a group of people for an extended periods of time without people saying, okay, this is enough.
Not in the country with all these guns. That's the problem. You know, there was that dude in Houston that started taking out police after Philando Castile. After the Philando Castile shooting, dude just started sniping. He hit like 3 police in Houston. Like, he killed them.
And it was just some random police that weren't connected to the situation.
Well, I mean, there's no such thing. They themselves say they're part of a fraternity. So, okay, you're part of a fraternity. That's the team you're on. Like, look, I got family in law enforcement. So, this is not like some like theory to me. Like, I have family in law enforcement. Like, this shit is real. But yeah, man, I wasn't crying about that shit when them cops got sniped over there in Houston. They killed that boy in front of his daughter, man. Fuck them people, bro. I don't care about them people.
That was
Fuck
another one where he wasn't guilty.
Yeah, I mean,
He just happened to have a broad nose.
yeah, like, nah, like, you know.
And he was part of the NRA.
Yeah, the NRA didn't have a lot to say about him, though. But you know what the Quran says about justice in matters of the slain? Where, you know, Muhammad said that retaliation has been prescribed for you in matters of the slain. Okay, well, there you go. Like, that's the way it's gonna be. So yeah, it's tough stuff. But like I said, man, I've already made my peace with it. And you know, I don't sit there and worry about it a lot. You know, I just run through the scenario in my head, and I'm like, well, you know, at the same time, like, I don't have to worry very much because it won't be long.
Yeah, I think like
It won't be long. We all gonna go. We all gonna go, and then we'll let Allah decide. But that's where I'm at. So,
like for me, having older brown children and then having younger ones, like I look at my younger ones and like everybody will be like, "Oh my God, they're so cute!" Blah, blah, blah. It makes such a big deal. And like I remember seeing a sign one time that said, basically, at what point does my cute little brown child become a threat to you and become a what's her face say? Lying woman that wanted to be president, Hillary.
super predators.
Yeah, calling them super predators. So when does my beautiful little brown baby become a super predator?
Right. That's
and
exactly
like, you know,
right.
I brought
Exactly
Orion
right.
on the stream today, and you know, people are like, "Oh, my God, he's so cute." But like in the back of my head, I'm like, at some point that's gonna change, and then people are gonna start to see him as a threat. And Orion, he's built like you are, and he's gonna be taller too. So
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, please. Oh my God, that's just
Yeah, and you know, we don't walk around. I don't teach my kids to walk around with a spirit of fear. Like my kids have seen me engage police. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they've seen me engage police and get in conflicts with them, and you know, take them to court and all that shit. They, you know, I'm not gonna. I don't teach my kids to fear or worship any man. Like, period. Like, I tell my boys, we're gonna look people in the eye. We're gonna fucking do what we need to do as men.
I gotta tell
And
you.
there's ways to handle the police so that they understand that you know the law. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really a lot of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Like, there's no way to explain this, and I don't believe anybody, unless you're in my situation, could understand this. But like, when it's your people, it's like white people that are killing brown people. Like, that's like, if it was like some other people group that was doing it, I could judge it and feel whatever. But like when it's my people and like another story comes out, and you know, if one of my teenage boys hears about it and it breaks their heart to hear it, like that, like just rips me to pieces, because it's like, I remember having the mindsets where I didn't think racism was a thing, where I did think that they did something wrong, and that's how they ended up in the situation that they were in. Like, they should have been committing those crimes and stuff like that. Like, I had all those same mindsets. But then, you know, like, you know, the, was that Eric Gardner? The one selling the Lucy cigarettes. It was Eric Gardner, right? Mm-hmm. He was selling Lucy cigarettes. I mean, come on. Does anybody think this is a crime worthy of death? They killed him. They choked him right out on the side. It's unbelievable.
Tucker and the rest of them should have been following orders. But Ashley Babbitt's a victim. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, this is silent count for me.
Obviously.
You know, at the same time, you're in a country where you're able to talk about it. You know, like, oppression has been the norm since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. But the ability for a minority to speak out against his oppressor without fear of reprisal is new. Mm-hmm. And so from that perspective, you still gotta say, okay, I can believe in the American project for another week. Mm-hmm. You know, like you gotta find what's salvageable about a bad situation. So when I look at America globally, and I look at the experience of, you know, obviously the African continent has been, there's been a 500-year search and seizure campaign by Europeans relative to Africa and its natural resources. So there's that aspect of it too. It's like, so yeah, good
Delaney,
song.
Lucy Cigarettes is you have a box of cigarettes and you're selling the cigarettes individually because maybe somebody doesn't have the money to buy the full box or whatever. So it's just, you can make money because you can charge a little bit more per, so you'll make a little bit of money off it. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a criminal enterprise in my,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just, it's capitalism. It's regular.
And all it comes down to is that it was a black person. Do I believe if I was out there selling Lucy cigarettes that a cop would choke me out? No. No.
Yeah, they
Friggin' I was speeding, criminal speeding, and the cop apologized to me.
Yeah. But, so there you go, dear listener. That was a 10-song stream. Shout out to the big homie 7 for that. Much love to all you beautiful people.
Yes, Delaney, they choked him out on the street.
Love your neighbor. Take care of each other. Stay safe. All that jazz. Love you guys.